On Halloween night, you might be used to a different kind of blade and a different kind of slashing, but tonight is All Hallows Eve in Akins Ford Arena, where the Rock Lobsters will look to trigger some terror in the Thunderbirds. Good evening, Crustacean Nation, and welcome to the Haunted Tank. My name is Mateen Rad, and you're watching the Athens Rock Lobster Network, which is getting bigger and better as we speak. Tonight's matchup is the visiting Twin City Thunderbirds against your Athens Rock Lobsters, and the Piedmont Athens Regional Pregame Show starts right here and right now. As it stands, the Rock Lobsters are undefeated after a sweep of the FPHL's 2 Carolina outfits last week, a come-from-behind win in the team's first ever game in PD, and then a thrilling domination of last year's Commissioner's Cup finalists, the Twin City Thunderbirds. The team from Winston-Salem will try to bounce back against the Lobsters as they bring back Jacob Schnapp back into the lineup. Schnapp has made a reputation for himself as one of the league's best agitators in the past few years. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape, and once again what stands out is how strong the Rock Lobsters have been in special teams. But will they be able to keep Gus Ford quiet? It feels like all of the Twin City offense is flowing through 2023's FPHL MVP right now. On the ice, we take a look at the Akins Ford engine starters for the night. It's a very strong contingent that will begin tonight's matchup. Joe Mack, the rookie, will line up with the two veterans, Garrett Milan and Eric Neely, who missed last week through injury. Defensive pairing of Michael Greco and Jack Johansson. Carter McPhail will start between the pipes for his first ever game at Akins Ford Arena. On the Piedmont injury report, we've got Dominic Dumas and Brandon Picard, who miss out tonight through knocks. Jesse Lowell is a scratch tonight. Our starters are brought to you by Akins Ford. If you're going to buy a new Ford truck, why not deal with the biggest Ford dealership in the Peach State? And that does it for tonight's Piedmont Athens Regional Pregame Show. Piedmont, real change lives here. Coming up next, we got the national anthem sung tonight by Star Phipps. A 6-2 scoreline between these two teams last Saturday. A lot of Rock Lobster fans will think it should have been 7-2 after Kayson Gallant nearly scored a last-second goal in that matchup. Apparently 0.2 seconds separated Gallant from either scoring that goal or in it not counting. Two captains that wear the number 14 for their squads, Carter Shinkarik for the Athens Rock Lobsters and John Butita, longtime Fed participant. Tonight's puck drop will be courtesy of John Hall from Coca-Cola. We send it up to Lincoln Strickland for a special message. Let's play hockey indeed, Lincoln. Lincoln's ready here in the tank. Are you ready at home for more Athens Rock Lobster action here? And the only place that you can catch it is here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. Gus Ford will start the game at center ice for the Thunderbirds. He scored both goals in the 6-2 loss for Twin City last Saturday. Possession will start with the Rock Lobsters. Garrett Milan tries to tip it into the enemy territory. Cade Hanley, who's one of the newest Thunderbirds on this roster, trying to figure out the white balance here as my feed is looking bright here. Gus Ford tries to slip his man and release a shot from the right circle, but the Rock Lobsters take it the other way. Garrett Milan wins it back for Mack. Mack in the left circle, shot got deflected off the stick of Sherbakov, and the game has its first whistle with 40 seconds gone. That's looking better. Offensive zone draw here for the Crustaceans. And on comes this red-hot line for the Rock Lobsters, and right off the rip, Glukaryov looking for the net. That's a heavy hit into the glass for Croucher, who's able to keep his bucket on, but a hit from behind, courtesy of a Thunderbird. And here come the Thunderbirds the other direction. Former Rock Lobster himself, Dion Demke, looking to make an impression here in his second game back against Athens. Pastuka to the line for Farmer. Off the end boards. Going to be picked up here by Captain Fantastic Carter Shinkarik. Kolatarsi behind the net. Don't think that one took a piece of Croucher. And indeed, the whistle will go for icing. Clock reads 18:40. A reminder that this broadcast is brought to you by Thornton Brothers, your one-stop source for janitorial safety and packaging solutions, from restroom soap and protective eyewear to butcher paper and more. Thornton Brothers, they've got you covered. This time it's the Thunderbirds who win the draw. Getting there first was Michael Mania, trying to sustain some pressure in the Rock Lobsters' defensive zone. McPhail helps that on to the blade of Gleb Van Durken's stick. Unable to connect with his fellow Moscow native. Both Glukaryov and Van Durken having played in the third tier of Russian hockey together. Gallant able to slap it back to Carter Shinkarik. Virgili, beautiful feed to the left side for Gallant. Gallant trying to get free, is able to just shovel it with the backhand right into the glove of Boris Babik. Second shot on goal in this game, both belonging to the Athens squad. Virgili against Ford. Gallant off the skate, sends one to the slot, no one there to answer it. New look line for this second line on the Rock Lobsters. Virgili with Gallant, we know that pair well, but they're joined this time by Chris Mott. Mott looking the hungriest here on the forecheck. Roman Kramer, a dangerous forward in his own right, dumps it in. Picked up by Gus Ford in the far corner. Stopped by the stick of Virgili. Gets it to Gallant. Gallant working his magic in his own zone. Like a thorn in his side as Roman Kramer. Matt Garcia picks up the biscuit right in front of the oven. Rosenbaum gets taken out. Shot came right in front of the blue line from Cade Hanley. Matt Garcia, we've seen this a lot this season, but it looked like Joe Mack took the early step. A little less than 3 minutes gone. Right now, the Twin City Thunderbirds still looking for their first shot on net. Battle for the puck's going to happen right in front of the Twin City half wall. Dobles unable to get it past Mack. Joe Mack hungry to score his first goal in Athens colors. Is it going to happen right here? Unable to direct his shot toward the Slovakian. Pastuka, nice little move to send it into the enemy territory. Jack Johansson, some good stick work to deprive the man from Czechia. falls kindly here for Neely. Neely, who lives about 30 minutes away from the arena here, was unable to play in the home opener last Saturday, but hoping to come up big here in his first home game as an Athens Rock Lobster. Luke Croucher buzzing through 3 or 4 Thunderbirds right in the center of the attacking zone. Well done there by Don Carter Jr. and the Thunderbirds to get it out of the defensive area, but time will stop at 16:01 as the puck is out of play. Took a tip on its way there. Face off in a familiar spot. Familiar line as well. Ben Durkin, Glukaryov, and Croucher. Had a chance to talk with Croucher just a couple days ago. He's enjoying playing in between the two Russians in what I'm calling the cold front line. Glukaryov pokes it to the blue line. Shinkarik keeps it in. Backhands it further into the zone. Croucher like a pest on the forecheck, but a big hit laid there on Van Durkin, courtesy of Slagers. McPhail. Nifty little touch from Shinkarik onto the stick of Van Durkin. The Moscow Mule takes a shoulder. Back for Kolatarsi. Kola, bank pass, intercepted by the Thunderbirds. Twin City still looking to trouble Carter McPhail for the first time tonight. Hanley loads up the shot, hits the traffic in front. Courtesy of Kolatarsi, that puck never made it to McPhail. Garcia takes a hit. Puck still with Athens. Mott fighting for that one. Virgili looked like he took a stick up high. Looks to the linesman to see why he wasn't going to get that call. 5.5 minutes played through here in the first period. Here's Chris Mott, an FPHL champion last year with the Binghamton Black Bears. Garcia able to pin this puck in. Body stacked here on the glass. Mott gets it free for Garcia. Garcia gets blocked from a close range. Johansson gets it past Schnapp. Cross-ice feed from Virgili. Only finds the stick of Dobles. Icing going against the Twin City Thunderbirds. Rock Lobsters will have the offensive zone draw after this commercial break. Stay tuned here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network.
As a hockey player, my health is everything to me. When I got injured,
I didn't just worry about missing games. I worried about my future in the sport I love. From the moment I met you and your team at Piedmont Athens Regional, you gave me confidence. Your expertise, your care, your support, it all reassured me from the very start. Because of you, I've been able to recover, rebuild, and get back to playing the sport I love. Can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dream alive. Thanks to Dr. Graff and Piedmont Athens Regional, I get to keep playing the game I love.
Twin City Thunderbirds playing the role of bad guy here tonight. Dion Demke here at center going to take the draw. Horn blows, and it looks like we're ready for this face-off. Milan wins it cleanly. Neely to Johansson. Neely tiptoes into the left circle. Narrowly misses the magic man, Milan. Schnapp, beautiful carry, left circle. Demke thought better of the shot. Whistles it around the end boards. Answered by Schnapp on the near side. Pastuca gets poked off his stick. Still don't believe we've seen the return yet of Jan Salak for the Thunderbirds. Ripped shot from Demke into the glove of McPhail. It's been a good start to the pro career of Carter McPhail. 2 starts, 2 wins for the Fenton, Michigan native. Had a tough start in Florence, South Carolina against Petey, but locked in and made some big saves down the stretch to help secure the win. Did Croucher get a tip on that? No, he didn't. Another icing against Athens. Not really either team able to control the narrative of this game thus far. Custom Mustard asking in chat who's in the goal tonight. That was a nice save. It's our rookie Carter McPhail. 2 26-year-olds make up the goaltender contingent for the Rock Lobsters in Lavalier and McPhail. According to Garrett Rutledge himself, he's been looking at that pair as 1A, 1B. So far, McPhail's been getting the Friday night starts, and Lavalier has been getting the Saturday night starts. Puck pinballing all around the neutral ice. Falls for Kolatarsi. Babic lays off of it. Another icing against Athens. Seven minutes and some change through here in the tank. Gus Ford wins the battle for the puck. Nice little move from Sherbakov. Initially couldn't finish it off. Croucher's pass hits a skate. Ford was almost sent there on a break. Van Durken gets in between the veteran and the puck. Glukaryov looking for the speed of Croucher. Croucher's able to generate a break at any point. Centering pass! Captain Fantastic again! The captain capped off last Saturday's performance with a beautiful goal to make it 6-2. This time he starts the proceedings off of Croucher's feed. What a playmaker Croucher has been. Rock Lobsters up once again against Twin City. Let's take another look here. Just getting in the dangerous position before centering the pass was Croucher. Placing himself beautifully in the slot was Carter Shinkarik. Goal number 2 on the year for the man from BC. The Rock Lobsters have now scored first in 4 out of their 5 games. It was a good omen last Saturday against this team. Let's see if they're able to continue the job here. Croucher and Glukaryov on the apples for Carter Shinkarik's goal. And now here comes Milan. Milan with a stinging shot into the palm of Babic. Neely, what a feed! It's 2! Neely showing Rock Lobster fans what they were missing last weekend, as this duo of Milan and Neely has been dynamic to start the year. Look at that, the backhand from the left circle, waiting at the back door was Milan. Just like that, it's 2-0. The Thunderbirds need to wake up here and get off the bus. Right now it hasn't been the start that they've been looking for as they look for revenge after last weekend's 6-2 thrashing. Thunderbirds looking for an immediate response. Turnaround shot, no good from Kramer. Pass to the blue line. Don Carter Jr. sends it into the corner. Centering passes go in. Kramer with some distance, but a lot of traffic out in front created by Crustaceans. Mott sends it right at Babic. The Slovakian will freeze. Babic in some early trouble here. Shots on goal read 4 for the Rock Lobsters. There's already been 2 that have tickled the twine past Babic. Shinkarik has been spooky. Milan has been murderous here on Halloween night. Petita. Mania lost track of that puck. Kolatarsi makes the Thunderbirds pay. Babic in the trap. Croucher, once again, just a nuisance against everyone he plays. Neither Russian and Glukaryov or Van Durkin can get a touch on that one. Butita, backhand shovel. McPhail, a good save. Almost 10.5 left in this first period. Milan from Neely and Garcia. The details on the Rock Lobsters' second goal. Moving the puck really well here. Danny Dangles can't get the shot off. Really good defense there from Hanley to tie Danny Dangles up. Another great centering pass. Croucher couldn't get it out from his skates. Michael Mania right at center ice for Butita. Tilt-a-whirl from Nate Keeley at the blue line. We talked about Nate Keeley a little bit last weekend. Rare part in his career where he's not playing with his twin brother, Clay. Clay, I not believe he's playing anywhere this season. A very, very good player was Clay Keeley. Less than a minute separating the goals from the 2 veterans for the Rock Lobsters. In my talks with Garrett Rutledge this week, we talked about how that comeback against the PD Ice Cats was kind of started by the 2 veterans of Neely and Milan. In response to that, Rutledge said sometimes you have to have your best players be your best players. 2 different games here tonight, though, in comparison with last Friday, as the Rock Lobsters had the start that they're looking for tonight, did not have that last weekend in Florence. Clever there from Johansson. Springs Milan free. Stamps on the brakes. Faces the blue line. Pastuca now moving west to east. Early step there from the Thunderbirds, and we go into a commercial timeout. The Rock Lobsters have put 2 on the board through their veterans. Shinkarik with the first. Less than a minute later, it was Milan. Another commercial break here on the Rock Lobster Network. How about that start?
Rock Lobster fans, this is Brad Akins. Akins Ford has led the way for years and keeps on growing. From offering the Southeast's largest inventory to being #1 in the nation in Ford truck sales, we're here to serve you. Want to customize your ride? Our Wild Willie's accessories team can make it as unique as you are. Make it legendary. Need service? Our fleet of over a dozen mobile service vans come right to you. Akins Ford and Winder. We really are closer and bigger than you think. Rock Lobsters, let's go.
Some fans enjoying the proceedings here tonight on Halloween night. on our claws up cam. There's the goal scorer of one of the Rock Lobsters. Tallies already in this one. Milan scoring to make it 2-0 on a beautiful pass from Eric Neely. It makes sense. I mean, two veterans of even higher leagues on the hockey tier system, if you will. But right now, Neely and Milan having a fantastic understanding of one another and each other's game. Thunderbirds knowing that there's still plenty of game here at Akins Ford Arena, but on Halloween night they've gotten off to a scary start. Beautiful poke check there by Joe Mack. Just his third game in red, but he is showing kind of the identity of a five-tool player there. How about that Milan magic right there? Takes it into enemy ice. Milan behind the net, centering pass. Kolatarsi pad save Babic. Mack on the biscuit now. Dion Demke takes it away. Shinkarik makes sure it stays on the Twin City ice. Neely, another great pass. Oh, my goodness. That should have been two from Shinkarik. Going cross crease for that save was Babic. His best save of the night. Don Carter Jr. almost got on a break there. How about that from McPhail, battling body to body against Carter Jr., keeping that puck in the trapezoid as he handled it. That's a little taste of what McPhail has provided this year. Puck drop going to happen right in front of the penalty boxes. Looks like Ford's body language isn't happy about maybe one of the calls. White to the right side. Ford protecting the puck. Hanley across to his D-line partner, Sergei Shabakov. Shabakov, one of the youngest players for either team at 21. McPhail scanning the ice. That one's in and out of the glove of Roman Kramer. Looks like we've got a penalty here. I think the Thunderbirds were the last to touch the puck, but White looked like he was holding his hand gingerly. Looks like it will be the Thunderbirds will have the game's first power play. Chris Mott down in the sin bin. Strong, skilled, strategic defense. That's what the Rock Lobsters will have to have on this Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. That's also what Leslie Jones Law provides. Rock Lobsters killing penalties at 88.9% clip. They rank 4th in the FPHL. Schnapp here on the power play. His job will be to create even more open ice on the man advantage. Shinkarik getting physical with Mania. Ford scored a power play goal against Athens last weekend. McPhail made the initial save. He was helped out by his teammates to make sure it stayed that way. Kramer didn't get the mustard he wanted on that shot. Ford sends it back to Kramer. Loose touch from Schnapp, and I think it made him rush his play as his pass to the blue line didn't go to plan. Croucher using his tenacious forecheck ability at both 5-on-5 and here on the penalty kill. Trying to force the mistake there after the loose touch from Yuri Pastuka. Carter Jr. hard off the shins of Virgili. That one didn't look comfortable for the Swede. Carter Jr. Garcia down on the ice. Slow to get up to his feet. Carter Jr. behind the goal line. Demke. Ripped shot from the blue. Pastuka missed the net. Demke trying once again. He's looked hungry in his return to the Classic City. And the Rock Lobsters will get called for the icing right as the penalty to Mott expires. Somewhat hard done by there. Some confusion here as Matt Garcia was sent back to the bench. And now he comes back out on the ice. The Rock Lobsters need 5 skaters. A penalty kill is over. Another killed penalty for Athens. They've killed 17 of 19 on the year thus far. Haven't seen Michael Greco in some time. He went down the tunnel earlier on in this period. Glukaryov. Nifty there from the Russian to feed another Russian. Bandurkin, whose shot misses the net and goes into the protective netting. After the power play for the Thunderbirds, they've able to narrow the gap in the shots on goal department. Now 7-5 in favor of the Rock Lobsters. Shinkarik scored to make it 1-0. He should have 2 goals in this game. Look at Neely. Neely, great job to get it to the net front. Combination of him and Milan pushed it towards Babic, and Babic pushes it back out. Ford cuts the center of the blue line, gets a tip on the shot back from Zach White. Neely, what a beautiful move! Unable to complete it. He gets taken down and collides with Babic. They exchange pleasantries as Neely gets back up. That would have been one of the best goals we had ever seen here at Akins Ford Arena. Neely, a man with AHL experience, showing why here on the ice of the tank. Game of keep away for John Batista. Don Carter Jr. here on the near side. Slagers. Noah Hippolyte Smith. Don't believe he's someone that we saw last weekend. Canadian of Jamaican descent. Looks like the Rock Lobsters will commit the offside. You might be able to see me wave here. Waving goodbye as we go into the next commercial break. Rock Lobsters up 2-0. We're going to try to at least hold on to that lead as first intermission is coming up here soon. Stay tuned here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds. Endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
No disrespect to Shinkarik or Milan, but sometimes it's the pass that out-impresses the goal. That's somewhat the case here in the first period. 2 goals less than a minute apart for the Rock Lobsters. Luke Croucher on a tremendous centering pass to Carter Shinkarik, who made it 1-0. And then Eric Neely cutting the ice with a feed to Super Milan to make it 2-0. Numbers going forward for the Thunderbirds. Keeley in behind the net, pinned to the boards by Michael Greco. Great poke check there from Van Durken. But the pass from Croucher back to him was off the skate. Croucher was won it back. Trying the 1-2 there was Croucher and Van Durken. I think that's an interference there, as Croucher wasn't on the puck when he took the hit. We'll see who's going to get called for the infraction. Hippolyte Smith looking dejected as he'll go for timeout. Rock Lobsters going to the quadruple P, the Paloma Park power play. The Rock Lobsters score on the Paloma Park power play. Fans can unlock $3 tacos at Paloma Park for 24 hours through the FanSaves app. Milan, Neely, Virgili, Shinkarik, and Mack. So the top line joined by Virgili and the lone defenseman Shinkarik. Neely tried to treat Dobles like a saloon door. Shinkarik to Neely. Milan out in front, pokes at it, deflects over the net. Back to Shinkarik. Neely. Joe Mack in space. Neely rips a shot, looking to trouble Babic from the short side. Easy enough for the Slovakian to deal with. Rock Lobsters will keep it in the offensive zone. To the line, Shinkarik. Mack now on the right. Milan's centering pass in the slot was Mack. It's too early in his career to have it be the return of the Mack. He's hoping for the arrival of the Mack here tonight in the tank. Virgili. Is it going to happen here? Neely with a shot. Squeezing the quads together was Babic. Virgili races back to try and prevent White from having a free pass at the Rock Lobster net. Neely has been so good on the puck, and right as I say that, it's taken away by White. Still 20 seconds to go on the quadruple P. Van Durken. 2 Thunderbirds around him, poked off his stick. Takes a big hit from Dobles. Glukarioff, Croucher. Rock Lobster power play coming to an end here. Croucher behind the net, sends one through the crease. Right out in front, an empty net. Glukarioff unable to tickle the twine. 1 minute remaining. Both teams back at even strength. The best opportunity of that power play just happened. Glukarioff might carve out another opportunity for himself here! Russian Rifle, Red Deer Rocket, they combine once again. two Rock Lobsters that returned to Athens after going into preseason camp with the Allen Americans in the ECHL. They combine here. Right now, it's the centering passes from the wings that are the undoing of the Thunderbirds as Gallant finishes off the beautiful move from Danny Dangles. The Rock Lobsters continue to heat up as the night goes on. They weren't able to get one on the power play, but seconds after it ended, Athens makes it 3-0. Sounds like a very familiar scoring summary, doesn't it? Shinkarik, Milan, and Gallant. .36 seconds remaining in the first period. And the first period has been dreamland for Athens thus far. Elias Thompson, the enforcer, some ice time for him here with Virgili and Mott. Perhaps Rutledge senses that the Thunderbirds will try and fire their team up with a physical altercation. Thompson on the ice to make sure that doesn't happen. First period winds down to a stop, but it could not get better for the Rock Lobsters in the first. Count them, 1, 2, 3. Shinkarik, Milan, and Gallant. And all of them came from beautiful centering passes. Shinkarik from Croucher, Milan from Neely, and Gallant from Glukaryov. Already a 2-point night for the Russian, as well as the Rock Lobsters number 3, Luke Croucher. We'll hear from him later tonight in our Lobster Tail segment in the second intermission. Well, me and Coach Rutledge were able to talk about some hockey, but also some non-hockey stuff, as well as our favorite costumes from Halloween's past and favorite Halloween candy. As always, during the first intermission, here is our Coach's Corner segment. How's it going, Crustacean Nation? Welcome back to Coach's Corner on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. It gives fans like you an inside look to the games and goings-on for the team. As of recording, the team is undefeated at 4-0 with a come-from-behind win against the PD Ice Cats and an amazing return home to Akins Ford Arena with a 6-2 victory against the Twin City Thunderbirds. As always, I'm Matt Rad, and I'm joined by head coach Garrett Rutledge. Coach, we saw our first bit of adversity really this season Friday in Florence, South Carolina, as the team didn't really get maybe the start it was looking for against PD. From your perspective, what kept the team from flowing the way it wanted to in that first period?
I just think like a long trip in on a bus trip. It's one of our first times kind of coming off the bus and having to play a game. So it was good to see. Obviously, PD's a good hockey team. They've done well putting a good product on the ice there. So obviously the week before we were kind of getting the rust off. And again, we didn't really have a whole lot of competition in Indiana, if I'm being honest. So having to play a real hockey team kind of gets the feel for the boys. But once again, it's credit to the guys coming off the bus. You know, it's a 4-hour trip in from Athens to Florence there. So the boys did well, stuck to the game plan, and we came out with the win.
You end up shaking up the lines in the second period. One of those lines has really worked out. We'll talk about that in just a second. But I was wondering, when we see a line mix up like that, is it more of a case of a coach saying, this isn't working and I've got to throw something together to see what does? Or do you have an ironed out plan B if plan A doesn't work?
You kind of have a feel for the bench on that kind of thing. I was just sitting there looking at who was going, who's not. You're looking at who's playing, who's kind of a little bit slow. And like I just was sitting there and I was like, I thought Gleb Van Durken was having a lot of good looks and stuff when who he was playing with. And then Croucher obviously brings that energy pretty much every game. And then Danny Glukaryov, I was just like, kind of wanted a little bit more from him. And then I was like, hey, why don't we put the two Russians together? They love each other and they played minor hockey and they want to play together. So I was like, hey, as a coach, you set your ego aside and you just kind of mix up the juggling match. And then obviously I think we threw Mac up with Neely and Milan, and first time out, they scored a goal. So it was kind of one of those things just as a coach. It's like it just worked out by chance.
You bring up that line that has been such a major part of the scoring since they've been put together, that second period in PD and Banderkin, Croucher, and Glukaryov. And man, oh man, it just seems like there's so much understanding already built between those three guys. They've been the main production line since that second period. What do you think works about those three together?
Well, I think you think of their intangibles altogether as hockey players. You got Danny on the wing. He's kind of a shooter, north-south, plays with a lot of pace, got an eye for the net. And then you put Croucher in there that's always got his feet moving. He's willing to take a hit to make a play. He hunts pucks. He's relentless on the forecheck. He makes plays, and he distributes very well. So, and then you got Gleb on the other side that's like very fast-paced shooter, got a nose for open ice, and knows how to score goals. So you put all those guys together, they become deadly when they want to play together, and they're all working as a unit. So I think all their qualities of hockey players balance each other off very well on that line.
Has it surprised you at all? Because Glukaryov, as you mentioned, has kind of been the trigger man, especially when he was with Milan last season. He's kind of been the playmaker on that line, 5 assists in his first 2 games back. Has that been a surprise at all?
No, I think that's just Danny and himself. I think he just plays his game. He's quietly goes about his business. Again, he's very easy to coach. He's not emotional on the bench. He's very even keel. He stays the course. He knows what his skill set is, and obviously knows what works in this league. He knows how to score goals, and he also knows how to distribute. So when these players get guys that are trying to take their time and space away, they know that there's going to be somebody else open. So it's credit to them. It's credit to the work they put in practice, delaying off the rush and middle drive and putting pucks to areas where we score goals.
Down 2-0 and 3-1 in that game in South Carolina, the team just never counted itself out and scored 3 unanswered to take its first lead at 4-3. Much of it was to do with that young line that we just talked about, but the wheels started rolling with a duo of Garrett Milan and Eric Neely, 2 veteran guys who have really gelled together in the early going. What have you made of how those two have started together?
Well, you've heard me say in the past about dragging guys into the fight. That was kind of one of those games where our best players need to be their best players, right? So I felt like, yeah, we were down, but I feel like we had some chances. Their goalie made some great saves. Like, they played a pretty solid hockey game at the end of the day again. So 2 top players that we're going to rely on heavily throughout the season are our top guys. And at the end of the day, the top players got to be the best players on the ice. And when they can control the ice and the way we're going to play and dictate the flow, those guys are just going to bring our guys along with them. So playing at those levels those guys have had, it's just like, that's one of those nights that Neely and Milan can bring our players into the fight and have success. And our young guys just continue on.
First ever meeting against the PD Ice Cats, really physical game, couple fights. They've played more games than anyone in the Continental, but they're right behind us for the division lead in the Continental Division. We play them quite a bit this season. How do you evaluate PD as a potential rival in this league, and how do you rate them in terms of competition throughout the season for the top spot in the Continental?
Yeah, I think all the teams are really good in the Continental Division, to be honest with you. There's not one team that sticks out more than the other. Like, I think we're all pretty good. I know we've said this in the past, but PD's got good hockey players on their team. They got the 2 twins that played in Atlanta. They've got some good defense on the back end. They're a well-rounded hockey team, and obviously their head coach has been around. He's coached for a long time. He's had success at many different levels. So they're going to be a well-coached team. They're going to work hard, and that's just the way it is. Every night in the Federal Hockey League is a tough win on a Friday, Saturday night. So it's going to be exciting. I think it's advantage for us to play good teams night in, night out. I feel like the better teams you play creates better habits for you, and when you get into playoff time, you're ready to roll. It's good for the league. It's good for the crowds. I think the quality of hockey is unreal to watch in the Federal Hockey League, especially in the Continental Division and all the teams coming in.
We look next to the big home win in our first game at the Tank this season. But first, there were a few guys who we didn't see on the ice in Athens and was hoping we could get a quick injury update. First, Eric Neely was one of those guys. He had a chance. I had a chance to see him before the game, and he said it was just a slight knock. Are we potentially going to see Niels back on the ice this weekend?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, again, I told him the old dog can't have Gordie Howe hat trick away from home. You got to do that stuff at home. But no, it's fun to, it's just one of those things, preventative maintenance kind of thing. It's so early on in the seasons where more we're looking for down the stretch, and obviously in playoffs, making sure he's healthy and ready to roll here. So it was just that, it was unfortunate. I know he really wanted to play in front of the home crowd and stuff like that. His kids were here and his wife. So it's nothing to be worried about. Yeah, it'll be good to go here.
Picks, Brandon Picard was nursing a slight knee issue from a collision he took in Indiana. How close is he to his return?
I would say he's another week or two out. Again, just you got to take care of these injuries early on in the season, or else they're going to linger for you all season, and you can get into one here. So I would rather make sure we're all healthy, make sure we're taking care of our bodies here, instead of rushing guys back immediately when we really don't have to. We got bodies where everything's clicking right now, and everything seems to be fine. So it's one of those things, you got to take care of your injuries early on in the season so that we can have success down the road here.
Lastly, Dom Dumas, we saw him on crutches at the player walk on Saturday. Looks like it's probably going to be a longer road for him. How long do we think his recovery might be?
Yeah, he's going to be out probably a month for sure. Again, he's just on crutches basically because the doctor just told him basically keep the weight off of it. It's not like he can't walk or anything, but it's the type of injury, whatever cartilage fracture or whatever they're calling it. Sorry if I don't have the medical term for it. It's basically just keeping the weight off it and stuff. So he can walk fine and everything. It's just the doctor recommends keeping the weight off it and having the crutches. So one step at a time, one day to day here. So he's in doing treatment, and obviously June will work his magic on him, and he'll be back in the ice sooner than later.
Are there any fresh additions to the injured list after Saturday's game?
No, everybody's pretty healthy. It was one of those games, so knock on wood, it was pretty successful for the whole group.
That takes us to the game itself on Saturday. First, I just want to get your thoughts on the atmosphere as a whole, from the fans welcoming the team to the arena to the roar coming from inside the tank. What did you make of what was your first competitive game behind the bench at Akins Ford Arena?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. I thought the fans bring energy. You could feel it as soon as we stepped out on the ice, the national anthem, and it's the show that the team puts on here. So credit to our game day ops, credit to our staff, putting in the work, selling tickets, putting on the show within the show kind of thing. So it's up to us to put on the big show, I guess. And we did that. So it was great to be out there. It was great to see the lights get turned on. It was fun to see all the fans that kind of come out to support us leading up to opening night. So it was good to be behind the bench, and it was definitely going to be a memorable moment for me.
One of the guys I want to talk about who I think performed really well this past weekend, really both weekends on the season thus far, is Jordan Rosenbaum, because I feel like he kind of flies under the radar a bit. If you've ever talked to Bomber, he's so even keel. He's never too up or down. It feels like you see that kind of his personality in that sense on the puck and on the ice as well. How do you think he's transitioned in his first couple pro games?
Again, he just goes about his business. He quietly just works his way into the lineup, secretly does his job, flies under the radar as a coach. You don't really notice him a whole lot. And then all of a sudden in a game, he just kind of takes it over with his vision, his play, his poise with the puck, and he's just in the right position. So it's fun to watch him to develop into a pretty solid defenseman really quick here. Again, in practice, we do a lot of things, and then he brings it to a game. So I'm very happy with how he's transitioned into his game here.
You had mentioned to me after our call last week, before we hung up, you said, Mateen, Joe Mack just looks crazy in practice. He's scoring goal after goal, and we haven't seen the goals from him yet in his first two games, but we saw 3 assists from Mack in Saturday night's game. He has a tremendous junior record and collegiate record. How did you happen upon Joe Mack before we signed him this offseason?
Oh, how did I know about Joe? Well, I was coaching the OHL when he played for Erie and Sarnia against him, so I knew of him, how he penalty killed, how he played up the middle. I know we have him on wing, but he's generally a centerman. And then just doing my homework and stuff. These are guys that you put as a coach into your kind of folder, I guess, of players to watch coming through. And then obviously I knew that he was playing at Lakehead and he graduated, and then he just reached out in the summertime, and obviously it worked out. He knew of me, I knew of him, and a couple players knew him. So again, credit to Athens and having an unreal setup and getting him to come down here and play, and he's having a great time. And it's a pleasure to have him, and it's a big piece for us for sure.
I know in the NHL level, you see often a line of two veterans and then kind of a young guy who does maybe all the dirty work sometimes on that line. With that being said, we saw him with Millsy on Saturday night's game, and with Neely due to come back, that's a line that would make a lot of sense. Will we potentially see the line of Mac, Milan, and Neely coming up here?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you put all three their elite prospects' resumes together, it kind of speaks for itself. You let them figure it out. So you got guys that's played at that level. They know how to take time and speed away. They're dishing pucks to the right areas. They just have a feel to play the game of just creating amongst themselves. They can take games over at any point, and having that as a coach as your top line, kind of when you need that and you need that statement shift, you have those guys to look down to. It's like, okay, well, we need to take the game over and have a little pushback here. Let's get onto the forecheck. Let's get the pucks down the bottom third and start working and let our big boys take over, kind of say, per se, not the biggest guys, but guys that's played at an elite level, higher levels, and know how to distribute pucks and create offense.
The goaltenders have done a good job so far on the year. We haven't let in more than 3 goals in a game so far this season. But perhaps more of note is the number of shots or lack thereof the defense has limited from their competition. How would you assess the group's commitment to limiting opportunities and making life easier on your netminders?
Again, Mateen, it goes back to our practice habits. We have a group here that wants to come to work. They want to get better every single day. So we work on a 5-man unit on the ice. Again, limiting shots and having good goaltending is obviously key, but the 5-piece rotation of what I mean by is our defensemen are standing at the blue line. We have back pressure, guys tracking like savages. We're hunting pucks. So when the forwards are tracking back as hard as they can, it allows our defense to stand up on the blue line and make plays and kill plays as they enter the blue line. So with that being said, even if they get in, our forwards are back. We're into a 5-man piece kind of thing in the defensive zone, and we sort from there. So again, it makes it hard to play against. Guys are blocking shots. Guys are quick to shut down plays. They get guys on the wall pinned up, and then we win puck battles and we get out of our zone and we go back and play offense. So with that being said, it's credit to all of our guys. So it just doesn't start as goaltending defensemen. It starts even back in, like I said, the forwards tracking, managing pucks, like everything comes into those intangibles and how to defend. So you got to buy in. Like, again, the quicker we can get that puck stopped up, the quicker we can get back on offense. Our guys know that. And again, the line changes come into it, the whole 9 yards of when you change quickly, you're distributing pucks, you get onto speed, you're just line after line, you keep coming and coming and coming, and you wear teams down and they can't play offensively with you. And they know when we're coming, it's like they just want to get rid of it quick, and away we go.
I promise I'm not trying to put the jinx on our team at all right now, but I just want your thoughts on the Thunderbirds so far this year. I think you and me both know that this run of results for them isn't going to last, but with that being said, 3 regulation losses for them in their first 4 games. It took them until late December to reach that mark last year. What is working and isn't working for Steve Harrison right now?
Yeah, I think sometimes you guys are just snake bitten, like they're not scoring goals, and like at the end of the day, it's it can happen to you quickly. Like the league, the Continental Division stuff, we talked about this before. It's not an easy night coming in when you play the Monroes, the Columbuses, the Baton Rouge. Like everybody's pretty decent in this league. Ourselves, Petey, they play Wytheville. Wytheville's got a strong team. So it's like one of those things. It's like, you can be chasing your tail really quickly. But I think once they get back, like they're missing Salak. He's played a lot of games. He scores goals. He holds on to pucks. He makes plays. Again, him and Yuri Pastuka, they have great chemistry on the ice. And I think it's just fitting in the right pieces and stuff right now. They got good goaltending. They're going to be fine once they get it all sorted out here. But like I said, it's a grind every once in a while. It can be difficult at the start of the year, but you just got to stay the course. And obviously Steve's won a lot of games over there throughout his coaching career too. And it's no need to panic, I'd say. They're still a good hockey team, and they're still dangerous every time they step on the ice.
Totally agree with you. That night ended with, wow, it was just a poetic and beautiful moment. As the team took its victory lap after the win was secured, Michael Greco grabbed the Orca Weisblatt jersey that's been kept behind the bench this year and did a lap with it. I know you didn't really get a chance to work with Orca, but what did you feel seeing your team rally around a fallen teammate like they have this season?
Yeah, if anything, a hockey team can get something behind them and something to play for, and, like, just hold yourself accountable to the standard how Orca played the game. And obviously having that jersey on there and doing kind of the moment of silence at the beginning of the game was pretty special.
Want to move better, feel stronger, and live healthier? Join Athens Health and Fitness. Personal training, results-driven programs, in a community that pushes you. Check them out at athenshealthandfitness.com today. Not a lot of shots on goal in the first period, just 11 for the Rock Lobsters and 6 for the Thunderbirds, but Athens made the Thunderbirds hurt in the first period thanks to their lethality in front of net. Right now it's looking like a slasher film through the first period, but still plenty of game left for the Thunderbirds to make a comeback in this one. First, it was goals in quick succession from the two veterans, Shinkarik and Milan. Shinkarik at the 7:32 mark, Milan at the 8:19 mark. Beautiful passes on both of them, Croucher and Neely, the feeds respectively on those. That trend didn't stop on the third goal. Kayson Gallant off a beautiful pass from Daniil Glukaryov to make it 3-0. That goal came with less than a minute to go in the first period. There's the Magic Man, who has combined so well with Eric Neely on his right side to start this year. Was still able to get on the score sheet last Saturday against this Twin City team, despite the fact that Neely missed out with a knock. Neely having to miss out due to injury right after he had the Gordie Howe hat trick in Petey. Early icing against the Rock Lobsters as they try to get their motor back going in the second period. Athens feeling the energy from this Rock Lobster crowd. Of course, it being a holiday, Halloween night. Still a good portion of Crustacean Nation showing up tonight here in the Classic City. Rock Lobsters able to win the battle for the puck in their own zone. Touch pass from Neely. Milan slides it to Mack. Back to Milan, off the blade of Milan's stick. Milan may stand at 5'8", but he's never afraid to lay a check. Forward picks it back up, right on the Piedmont Athens regional logo, past the blue line. Greco whistles it around. Here's Greco again. Hard off the end boards. Sent the other way by Dobles. Here's Greco with another touch of the puck. Big hit behind the goal line on Croucher from Farmer. A little bit of 1v1 here. Mania down to the ice after the poke check from Kola Tarsi. Despite the fact Kola got nothing but puck. Turnover here from the Rock Lobsters in their own ice. Mania centering pass. No one there to put the punctuation mark on it. Shinkarik wriggles it free but runs into Mania. Turnover this time from Twin City. Van Durkin asking for something here. Not sure if he felt that he got slashed as he traversed that puck towards the net front. Either way, Babic freezes the biscuit. Just about 2 minutes gone in the middle period. Athens with a face-off in enemy territory. Virgili draws it back. Shinkarik takes it around Don Carter Jr. Shinkarik around the world. Shot came right at the face of Babic, reaches the glove out and makes the save. Carter McPhail hasn't seen a lot of shots to start this second period. As a matter of fact, he hasn't seen any. Shot on goal tally still at 6 for Twin City. McPhail out of his crease to try and stay fresh in between faceoffs. Turnaround pass from Schnapp to Batista. Twin City has to regroup after the offside. Chris Mott onto the backhand, enters the zone on the left side. Slams on the brakes in the corner. Shinkarik to the right for Kolatarsi. Virgili tried to jump out in front of that puck in front of Babic. Great centering pass through traffic. Gallant to the line for Shinkarik. Hard off the end boards. Kolatarsi was looking for a fortunate bounce. Springs free for the Swede. Looking for Gallant at the back door. Gallant wins it back yet again. Rock Lobsters keeping the Thunderbirds pinned on their heels. Shot from Virgili came from the left circle. Never hit the net. Shinkarik wisely decides to take the body instead of the puck there on his fellow captain, John Batista. Another icing against the Rock Lobsters, who have tried to be so direct in their play in the early going. I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight, wherever you enjoy tuning into Rock Lobster games, whether it be here on YouTube or also here on Sportfy. We hope to announce where else you can watch Rock Lobster games here soon. Keep your eyes peeled on social media. Matt Garcia around the end boards to his former roommate, not sure if they're current roommates, Kayson Gallant. Virgili and Mac right now on this line with Virgili and Gallant. Looks like they're changing back to the first unit as Neely is back out on the ice, and here comes Milan. Mac gives the puck up. Opportunity for the Thunderbirds. Centering feed from Ford behind the net. Never found White. Here's Ford again. Scored the 2 goals against the Rock Lobsters last Saturday in the 6-2 loss for the Thunderbirds. Aims up high on McPhail, and McPhail takes the bucket off. Looks like he felt something hit his teeth as that shot came up high on McPhail. Explaining that to Michael Greco. McPhail fiddling with his helmet. Looks like he's back ready to go. There's a man, Jack Johansson, right now. He's the newest Rock Lobster. Made his first appearance last Friday in Florence. Linesman not happy with the draw. We'll do it again. Johansson. Up the right boards for Neely. Milan's there to help drag it in to the offensive zone. Hard off the far corner. Hanley, who's been, I think, maybe one of the most impressive Thunderbirds on the night. Michael Mania with a shot off the pad of McPhail, springs back up into his glove. Good to see Greco spring back up to his feet there. He took a hard tumble into the end boards. He had left this game earlier on in the night, but obviously he's back in contention. Two shots on goal for each team in the second period. Still a 3-goal deficit in this game, but a 4th for the Rock Lobsters might help further settle the nerves. Athens commits the offsides as Mack had tumbled into the zone before the puck did. Milan slaps at it, comes off the boards, falls favorably for the Thunderbirds. Kolatarsi lost track of it, falls in front of Mack. Milan, spring in his step, through the legs, looking for any teammate. Mack almost got there, falls all the way back for Kolatarsi. Mack loses track. Milan gets pushed in from behind by Noah Hippolyte Smith. Kolatarsi looking for the bank. Don Carter closes it. That was almost dangerous as Don Carter Jr. had tied up the legs on Kolatarsi before they both went into the end boards. Shinkarik snuffs out the oxygen of that attacking opportunity. Croucher can't complete the poke check through the legs of White, but not giving up at all in this forecheck. We've got a whistle. Rock Lobsters going back to the quadruple P. We'll see how they do right after this commercial break. Stay tuned with us here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds, endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
Thunderbirds trying to shake it off here in the second period. The Rock Lobsters now on the Paloma Park power play. They scored seconds after their first power play in the first period. Kolatarsi, Bandurkin, Glukaryov, Croucher, and Gallant. Bandurkin. A little bit of a shoulder shimmy, got to the slot. Shot got picked off. White left on the ice by Kolatarsi. Croucher steps into another gear. Gallant toward the slot, Glukaryov into the left circle. Croucher tries to center it, comes off the skate of Dobles. First meaningful shot from Athens in their second power play of the night, first of the second period. A little bit of give and go there. Glukaryov trying to finish off the move after the 1-2 between him and Gallant. Shinkarik whistles a shot right into the midsection of Schnapp. 45 seconds to go on the man advantage. Farmer in the bin. Croucher. Touch of the puck there is nifty. Croucher up the left side for Neely. Croucher will leave the ice. To the end boards, Bandurkin around for Milan. Rock Lobsters transitioning to their top power play unit. Shinkarik. Neely, centering pass, Van Durkin. Never reached Babic. Mack rifles a shot into the glove of Babic. Power play is over for the Rock Lobsters, but they'll keep the puck on the other side of the ice. Mack here in between Thompson and Mott. First time we've seen this line today. Probably coming from the personnel that we saw used on the power play. Keep those boys fresh. A fight for the puck right in front of the Athens bench. Greco weaves one to the far side for Mack, who lost track of it. Got poked back to him by Mott. Thompson trying to create some open ice. Still a new look defensive unit for the Twin City team. And you can sense that. It's been tough for them to transition defense to offense, not just in this game, but throughout the season thus far. Trying to avoid 3 straight losses. And the Thunderbirds had not reached 3 regulation losses until December last year. Danny Dangles to the net front. Not the first time we've seen that tonight, but once again, the Russian unable to put it into the oven. 9 minutes gone. McPhail got caught out there by the awkward bounce, but no Thunderbird was there to put the finishing touches on it. Glukarioff, Van Durkin, pad save by Babic. Deflected high, but not out of play. Rosenbaum with a good defensive play there. He's contributed on the offense thus far on the early stage of the season. But sometimes you don't want to think about your defenseman too much, and he's going to have to try and play a part here on a 2-on-1. Oh, my goodness gracious. What a sprawling save from Carter McPhail. No doubt his best of the night. That was the first time that McPhail had to play superhero on the night. Gallant trying to use that traffic to his advantage. Gallant, Virgili. Heavy hit in the corner. Chris Mott bounced off the check. Virgili wins it back. Gives it right back away. Taken away by Shinks. Gallant had it come at his skate a little bit too quickly for comfort. Gallant had the cherry on top in the first period. Loses his traction in the offensive zone. So far, the second period has really breezed by here. Not a lot of stoppages in comparison to the first. Already 11 minutes gone. There's 2 captains coming together there in Shinkarik and Butita. Mott with a big hit to open up some ice. Gallant avoids the check himself. Twin City doing a much better job at protecting their own blue line, but again, that hasn't transitioned well into any offense. The only exception is that tremendous save that we saw from McPhail going across the crease to make the save. That was just minutes ago. Neely. Milan. Again, just a drove of understanding between the two veterans in Neely and Milan. Mack. Milan. Wanted someone in that right circle. He'll still find a pass to Greco. There's a loose stick. It looks like a full stick here in the corner. I don't think there's any break there. Not sure who that belongs to. Dion Demke picks it up off the penalty box boards. Asking for it. Getting it is White. Misses wide. 7.5 to go. This is better from the Thunderbirds. Long range shot. So many bodies out in front. McPhail didn't see it till late. Still made the save. Another bite of the cherry for the Thunderbirds. McPhail with another effort to keep the puck out. This is some of the best forechecking we've seen from the Thunderbirds in this game. Carter Jr. thinks about the shot. Milan gets in his face. Carter Jr. from the corner, making an office in the trapezoid. Big hit from the Grecking ball behind the net. Turnaround shot from White. Michael Greco and Don Carter Jr. getting in each other's face. A cross check going, I believe, against Don Carter Jr., who's very upset about the call. We go to our next commercial break here, but the Rock Lobsters heading right back to the quadruple P. Will they give fans $3 tacos on the night? Find out coming up after this commercial break.
Since we opened in 1968, we've taken pride in our professional staff. Unparalleled customer service is our legacy. Experience the best, skilled hands and friendly faces. At Stanfield Air Systems, satisfaction is not just a guarantee, it's our tradition. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Honey, the sink is overflowing!
Okay, I'll call a plumber.
Need a plumber? Need a pro? When you need a plumber, call a pro. Plumber Pro.
Twin City trying to look on the bright side. They've been moving their skates much, much better here in the second period and really in the last 3 minutes. Still no goal to show for it. And the Rock Lobsters lead 3-0. And once again, the Thunderbirds will be on their heels as the Rock Lobsters are back to the Paloma Park power play. Milan, Mack, Virgili, Shinkarik, and Neely. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Virgili in the slot, able to draw it back from Milan, almost like a face-off in itself. Neely takes a hit from Farmer in the corner, has two around him. Giveaway, is there a 2-on-1 developing? Milan on his horse to try and prevent that from happening. Centering pass. Looks like there's going to be a penalty going against the Rock Lobster on that 2-on-1 break. Ford trying to catch McPhail out from a tight angle. McPhail makes the save. It's a clever play when you consider the Rock Lobsters were on the lower number of the 2-on-1 there, excuse me. Virgili will touch the puck, and now we'll go to 4-on-4 for about 1:10. Looks like Milan was called for the hook. It's not a penalty you would love to take if both teams were skating at even strength, but with the Rock Lobsters up a man there, a smart play to potentially save a goal. What Athens needs to focus on here is to try and deplete the Thunderbirds of hope here, because hope is gaining as their momentum is as well. The final 6 minutes of this second period. Milan and Don Carter Jr. in the box. Minute 10 of 4-on-4 between the penalties of Milan and Don Carter Jr. And then it'll be about 50 seconds of Twin City power play. Lukaryov trying to fetch it down from midair after the initial shot from Van Durken. One thing I've said about the Rock Lobsters is that more open ice always benefits the Crustaceans. Ripped shot from Van Durken on the one time. Schnapp got in front of it, and Babic will freeze with 5:31 to go. Couple personnel changes for Twin City. Right as the referees were really letting the game breathe, we're starting to see some more whistles. We'll redo the draw. Van Durken directing traffic a little bit, almost like a basketball point guard. Johansson. Lukaryov back to Johansson, who's here with Van Durken and Michael Greco as well. Greco gets it taken behind him. Yuri Pastuka trying to shoulder off Jack Johansson. I think Johansson's going to get called, I believe, for a holding of the stick. So things getting interesting here on the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill now. As Twin City will now have a power play. They'll have a little less than a minute of 5-on-3 as well. Athens back on the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Croucher, Shinkarik, Virgili, the three here tasked to protect McPhail's net. But that task is as tasking as ever with only 3 skaters on the ice. Ford drifting around. Thunderbirds trying to create a window. It's now 5-on-3. Whistle of a shot from Don Carter Jr., who's fresh on the ice, just wide of McPhail's right post. Ford, he's been looking for the tight angle all night. Centering pass back to Don Carter Jr. in the right circle. Wide on the left. Trickles wide after it hit Nate Keeley in front of the net. Ford trying to cause some more chaos and calamity in front of the net. White misses high. The call of let's go Lobsters around the rink here. Ford, backhand, forehand. Can't get it to go. Croucher shovels it out. And here's Milan with a breakaway. Milan goes to the backhand. Great save by Babic. We talked about how Athens might need a momentum killer here in the second period. That would have been just that off the stick of Milan. Rock Lobsters still on the PK here. Neely, 2-on-1 developing. Mack on the other side! Saved by Babic. And now we've got another penalty coming up. We'll see what the call is after this commercial break. Things are starting to get interesting here in the tank. You're not going to want to go anywhere.
Farm Burger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you.
Meet our professional team, where the best customer service is our promise. With over 5 decades of expertise, trust Stanfield to keep you comfortable. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Starting to become penalties galore in the second period. Going to be 12 seconds of 4-on-4 before the Rock Lobsters go back on the power play. Penalty called against Thunderbird captain John Petita. It's been as even of a period as we've seen between these two teams in the 4 and change that we've seen them play. Yuri Pastuka trying to create some opportunity himself. McPhail thus far has been flawless. There was a window of opportunity there for Pastuka and the Thunderbirds in which they had to take, because the time before the Rock Lobster power play starts is dripping off the clock. Virgili. Rock Lobsters back at full strength. That means they're on the power play. Milan, drop pass to Neely. Milan just always knowing where Neely is and when. Shinkarik to Milan. Shinkarik rips a shot. That one hard off the glass, right behind Babbick's net. Virgili trying to carve something out. Athens has to take it back in the neutral zone. Neely to Mack to Milan. Right behind him was Farmer. A good read there for the Mississauga, Ontario native. Milan to Mack. Back to Shinkarik. Quarterbacking this power play, as he so often does. Short angle shot. Mack still looking for his first Athens goal. Behind the goal line, Virgili. Great cross-ice pass. Gallant unable to knife any mustard onto that sandwich. Virgili making an office in the trap. Milan opts for the pass instead of the shot. Trickles out to Shinkarik. 15 seconds to go on this man advantage. About a minute and a half remaining in the middle period. Mack, Gallant behind the net. Shinkarik. One last opportunity on this power play. Shinkarik can't get the shot off. And here comes the other way, Gus Ford. He knew White was on the near side, but Gallant also read where the danger was coming. Penalties galore, but nothing came out of it for either team, as we are rapidly approaching the final minute of play in the second period. A better 20 minutes for the Thunderbirds, but nothing to show for it. Rock Lobster still in firm control. Garcia gets taken down to the ice there, trying to show the officials that Hanley had a handful of Garcia. Athens trying to pin it in deep in the final 40 seconds of play. Rosenbaum up for Glukaria. Russian to Russian, Thunderbirds dust to dust. The Moscow Mule has done it again, his second in the tank this year. Will he become a fan favorite? Let's see how that one happened. It looked like Glukharov was going for the move onto the backhand. It just falls favorably for Banderkin. The Moscow Mule makes no mistake. As a matter of fact, he makes it 4-0. And after all the hard work that the Twin City Thunderbirds did in the second period, the Moscow Mule with the momentum killer that Athens had been looking for. And for the second straight period, the Rock Lobsters score in the final minute of play. Here come the Thunderbirds. Would be a poetic response for them. Short angle shot. McPhail makes a save, but the net comes off its moorings. This is a problem we've seen a lot in other arenas, not often here at the Tank, but the net is put back on. McPhail seems a little befuddled. Just 10.1 seconds on the scoreboard here. Luke Croucher has 2 assists in this game. He's been a huge playmaker for the Rock Lobsters this year, as he has the team lead in points right now with 12 on the season thus far through just 5 games. Putting another second on the clock here are the officials. 10.1 seconds, they say it is. Let's see if that 1/10 of a second makes a difference. It almost did, as Twin City's number 10 almost deflected it past McPhail. One last shot here, but instead of the pass, Dobles needed to make the shot himself. A very, very even second period, but the Rock Lobsters still have the advantage. Lone goal came in the final minute of play in the second. The deke from Danny Dangles falls to the Moscow Mule, Gleb Banderkin, with his 3rd goal of the year. Rock Lobsters lead 4-0 going into the second intermission. As we were talking about, Luke Croucher has been a tremendous playmaker so far this year for the Rock Lobsters. 2 assists already on the night for him. I had a chance to talk with him about his story, his social media presence, and his transition from the college game to the pros. As always, during the second intermission, here's our Lobster Tales segment. This week's guest, Luke Croucher. Hey there, Crustacean Nation, and welcome back to Lobster Tales on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. It's the go-to way for you fans to learn more about your favorite players. As always, I'm your host, Mateen Rad, and my guest on this episode currently leads Athens in scoring, and he's made the transition from college to the pros look easy. Welcome to the show, Luke Croucher. Thanks so much for joining me, Crouchy.
Thank you, Mateen. I appreciate you having me on the show today. I'm excited to see what this brings.
Of course, man. We got to have you on, especially with the kind of run you're having. We talked about how easy you've made the transition look, but can you tell us firsthand how that step up in competition has felt for you in your first 4 games?
Yeah, I think just being able to build habits and routines is like a big part of what I do. I think that was I think the adjustment, surprisingly, college versus pro, the game slows down a little bit. A lot of people wouldn't realize that. When they come to this level, you expect a lot more because you think it's like pro level, but you don't realize like the guys are a lot smarter. They think the game more, and it's more kind of understanding. How do you adapt to that? How do you think the game more? And that's kind of the step I'm trying to take in my game. Obviously, it helps having a little bit of speed up the middle and on the wings, but nothing but awesome teammates and everything like that. So pretty fun adjustment, honestly, from college to pro.
Whatever line you've been on so far, you've been making important contributions on. Most recently, you've been centering the 2 Russians in Gleb Banderkin and Danil Glukharov. How does it feel to be playing between those two right now?
It's actually exciting. They play with free will. I think Danny and Gleb are they gel so well together. So it's you're just trying to contribute to what they're doing. They have good chemistry together. They've been absolutely amazing. And I love the fact that they're both players that take risks in their games. I think a lot of players, even minor hockey players, just don't take enough risks. And that's why they don't see rewards. And they're fun to be around because they're so creative, and it helps me keep my free will as well to do great things. So I think all of a sudden we just kind of fell into line with each other against I believe PD there this past weekend, and it just worked and it sparked, and it's something that's positive.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting in good spots, and you're doing a really good job of finding them right now. Going back to the beginning of this year, what can you tell us on how the opportunity with the Rock Lobsters emerged for you? I do know that you and Coach Rutz kind of go way back a little bit.
Yeah. So Coach Rutz and I, we never really crossed paths with each other at any points, but we were kind of embedded into organizations at one point. I believe it was the Oakville Blades, and he also knew past coaches of mine when I played Junior B for the Hamilton Kilty Bees in the Greater Ontario Junior Hockey League. And it was just kind of, it's just how hockey goes. Like one phone call here, one phone call there. He made a phone call to Newman, and then he realized that I was at Newman. He made the connection. He tried to get two of our players from Newman down there. Unfortunately, only one of us got down here in the end, and I've been just fortunate that this connection's happened. I was honestly debating hanging up the boots this year, and I'm actually just thrilled I just took kind of the opportunity to do this and just try it out and see what happens. And now we're here.
I think even more opportunities are going to come for you down the line as well, Crouchy, with the way you've been playing. It might not just be on the ice either. You might need to teach me how to get some more YouTube views and subscribers, man. You have nearly 3,000 subs, more than 100,000 views on your YouTube channel, where you've documented what it's like to be a D3 hockey player at Newman University.
Yeah.
I was curious, what inspired you to put your story out there like that?
I think there's a lot in the hockey process nobody sees. I think when you become a pro, I see NHL players, and I always was like, why can't I just see what they do every day to get to where they are? And I didn't know whether I was going to continue playing or not. That's why I thought it was important to make sure I just documented the process too. There's actually 5 to 10 videos that are unseen, that are unedited and like ready to come out. So there's a lot more coming this way. I just took my senior year to just enjoy it, not worry about all the, the sparkly stuff, I guess. And yeah, it was just kind of like figuring out what if I was a kid who was 10 years old again, what would I want to see? And I think a lot of it actually came from my roommates pushing me. I'll shout out my old goaltender, Cole DeFazio. He pushed me into actually creating YouTube and starting YouTube because I used to watch a bunch of goalies who used to make content and Dana Life content. And now I see like Willie Stiles making Dana Life videos on YouTube. It's kind of cool that it all emerged like this, but I feel like this is just the beginning now, and now I can document my pro journey. So it only piggybacks onto other things and hopefully greater things to come.
Well, it's good to hear that some of your teammates were motivating you, because I watched that first episode you ever did, and your teammates were kind of busting your chops at the time, telling you not to bring that to the game.
Right now, pregame, why not? What are they going to do? And if I score today, like 3 goals, what are you going to say? Nothing. Okay. Then we're okay.
Were you ever discouraged from continuing on, or did you just not let that kind of stuff bother you?
Obviously, as much as people would like to say, hey, try and like cancel out the noise, it's hard to do it all the time. There's going to be players, teammates, coaches, whatever it is, has positive and negative views. And it's just realizing that is, I think one perspective I had early on in the journey was like, is your regret going to be bigger, or is your fear of judgment going to be bigger? And once I kept reminding myself of that, it's like, okay, just pull out the camera. Nobody's going to care at the end of the day. They're going to chirp you day one. and then they'll realize that it's actually legit when it goes off. So it's trying to getting over that barrier, getting comfortable in front of the camera. It's like they don't see themselves doing it. That's why they kind of push off their own limitations to you or limiting beliefs to you. So that was kind of a big learning curve to me. So now that I'm kind of a little bit more established, it's been helpful, and everyone here has been super supportive of the process and encouraging. And I'm a guy who's very shy when it comes to behind the closed door. So I try to not to get in anyone's way and just document what I can do and what people see of me. So.
No, I think that's a really, really healthy mindset and perspective to have. And I think inquiring minds want to know, are there any plans for you to continue documenting your journey now as a pro player with the Rock Lobsters?
Yeah, so I do have videos. So just like I've got 5 to 10 videos, college embedded videos, I did record our weekend in Indiana. I mean, some of our players might have not even known I've been recording in Indiana. I did let the boys know. I plan on recording this weekend, our upcoming weekend, our back-to-back against Carolina or Twin City here. So hopefully I can get some cool footage of the rink and stuff like that and just walking around, seeing fans. And yeah, but it's trying to find a healthy medium of like, when do you bring out your phone? When do you not bring out the phone? Obviously, I'd love to have a camera crew following me around, but again, you don't want it to be a distraction either. So that's a big learning curve too, that I kind of have to continue.
I mean, that sums up a lot of what you do off the ice. Let's get back to what's on the ice. And Crouch, keep in mind, I've only watched you play now for 240 minutes. But if someone were to ask me what I've seen from you on the ice, I would say, I bet he's really annoying to play against. The way you hunt pucks, you lead the forecheck. Even when you're pushed down to the ice, you get back up, the puck is still on the blade of your stick. I really don't know how you do it. How would you describe the game that you bring to the ice in your own words?
Cool question. I mean, I got a mix of, if I were to imagine a player, I imagine 4 players. I loved watching Mitch Marner when he played for the Maple Leafs. I love watching William Nylander, just his skill and his poise, and Nikita Kucherov. Those guys I aspire to play like that skill, but I also have the grit of wanting to be like Brad Marchand. Everybody hates playing against him, but everyone loves it when he plays for them, plays with them. So just having a combination of that and just realizing that, hey, you don't know when your last game's going to be, so you might as well put it on the line when you can. I know that I learned a lot in college. We worked like dogs, and shout out to my coach at Newman, Mike Hedden. He taught me a lot for the 2 years I had him, or a year and a half I had him there. And I'm hoping I can just continue to keep the ball rolling here. So that's kind of a description of my game, if any.
It might be presumptive of me, but I think if there was one person on the team that had a similar game to you, it might be Garrett Milan. I mean, an MVP last year. Right now, you're getting off to a hot start. Has there been anything that you've tried to pick up from Millsy's game since you two have started to share the ice?
Yeah, for sure. I see him, and we look. I'm not saying we look alike. I'm saying we play probably pretty similar games. And both being very, we've been chirped before. He says he's still taller than me, or says I'm the midget on the team. But it's good to know guys who've been successful. Like, he played at St. Cloud for, I think, 4 years there. He's played his time in the Coast or the SP, and he's won in different places. And I always try to pick guys' brains, or even just watch them on the ice, what their habits are, what they do with the puck. How do they move off of the puck is more important for me, is seeing what their habits are like. And then just when I get the chance to talk to them, just pick their brains of what their experience was like. What would they have done differently? What would have they continued to keep doing? What would they, still have done today? And yeah, I think even Nielsey too, Eric Nielsey, who we've acquired too, Shinks, older guys that have just been through the process. I was just on a car ride home with Joey. I still don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Coley. All great guys on our team, but cool to pick their brains just to see what their process is like and what their perspective's been, because they've been through the whole process. So just continuing to learn. I think if you just be a student of the game, that's all you can ask for. Perfection or progress over perfection.
I would tell you that it's Kolatarsi, but I feel like I just ask guys, hey, is this how you pronounce your name? And they just say, yeah, no matter what I say. So I couldn't say for sure if that's the case. But
Right.
coming off this past weekend, you're just coming off your first ever home game at Akins Ford Arena. I know there was the scrimmage a few weeks before that, but different atmosphere, of course. What are your first impressions on the atmosphere, the fans, the facility, in the building that I call the Tank?
The Tank. I love that. I think that's the first time I've heard that. That's I think it's exactly what it's like to play there. You don't realize you get the SEC type football fans in a hockey arena. We went to Kentucky the other day, or the game Georgia versus Kentucky 2-3 weeks back before we went to Indiana. And to see 93,000 in that stadium, or however many there was too many to see.
It's crazy.
We almost get that mentality inside the rink. So even if it's just a stick off the glass, people are still learning the game of hockey down here, and just everything that we do is exciting for them. And that's huge for us to know that we have that energy.
That's a little bit of the here and the now and the future. Let's get back more to your roots. I knew you grew up in Ancaster, Ontario, within the city of Hamilton. I mean, you already talked a little bit about Marner and Nylander. Does that mean you most likely grew up a Leafs fan?
100%. And don't get me wrong, I love Austin Matthews. But yeah, through and through. I used to be a Patty Kane fan. Loved my Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin growing up, of course. Used to be a Washington fan growing up just because I love scoring goals. And but had to bring it back to the roots at one point or another.
I mean, that kind of answered my next question, as if there was a player that you watched growing up. Sid the Kid, Ovi, obviously, those are really good answers. But otherwise, childlike instincts. Halloween night coming up on our Friday night game. Were there any memorable Halloween costumes for you, either as a kid or a college player? Maybe you went as Sid the Kid for Halloween one year.
No, you know what? It'd be funny, a hockey player going as a hockey player, right? Never got the chance to do that. I'm going to be honest with you. Most nights in Halloween, I think I can only really remember a few. Maybe it was a Power Ranger once, but most Halloween nights, we'd be either practicing or playing. That's just how it's like in Canada. Halloween's not treated as a vacation. I do remember just a photo of more my parents. They used to be M&Ms together. I think that was cool. And having a long distance girlfriend, I bring that back, but that's about it. Nothing crazy. Not that I can remember of.
I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to have a costume in the booth. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth spending the money on a costume just to have.
I'm seeing anyone wants to go Lobsters with me.
If players showed up to the rink as Lobsters Friday night, that'd be memorable.
And then I'll go out in the city of Athens after, and they'll know the Lobsters are out.
Everybody will know. Everybody will know. Luke, we're going to play a quick game together. What I want to do is ask you some quick rapid fire questions. You're going to answer those questions with the names of one of your teammates. I'm calling this one Lobster Roll Call. First one I want to ask you, if one of your teammates were to make day in the life content just like you do, whose content would be the most entertaining?
Entertaining. All right, my roomie said I should shout him out today, so I'll say Carter McPhail. I'm thinking about doing a day in the life just with him, watching my goalie day in the life. Maybe flip the camera one day. So I'm gonna go with him.
No stranger to YouTube content himself. Next question: who's the loudest guy in the locker room?
Loudest guy in the locker room. We got a lot of vocal guys. I was gonna say local. We got no local guys, but a lot of vocal guys. There's got to be a battle between maybe
Michael Greco's got to be up there, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say Greco, Garce, Millsy. They're all in the mix. I wouldn't say Carter McPhail's far off either. They love to chop it up.
It's nice to see that McPhail isn't afraid of using his voice in his first few days as a pro. Who has the messiest locker in the locker room?
Now, that's a strict policy in our room. So if anyone's got a messy locker, you're getting fined for that. So I'm going to say no one's really got a messy locker room. We keep the standard pretty clean. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus either. So
all right, good. Good on you. Who's the class clown of the team?
Willie for sure. We love Willie. Absolutely awesome.
The best.
Yeah, there's just no doubt. He's just awesome to be around.
Who's got the best drip?
Best drip. First guy who comes to mind is Picard. I saw him wearing a flannel the other day. He was looking good. We got some guys with good style on the team. I got to work off of it.
Watch out, Picks.
Make your home feel brand new. Dalton Carpet One has the flooring you've been dreaming of. Visit DaltonCarpet1.com today and step on to style. Hate to interrupt our Lobster Tales segment, but of course you can catch those right here on the Athens Rock Lobster official YouTube page. All Lobster Tales and Coach's Quarter segment here on YouTube. Let's take a look at some scores around the FPHL as we speak. Right now, the PD Ice Cats up bigger than any other team in the Fed right now. A 6-2 lead for them at home against the Blue Ridge Bobcats. Danbury Hat-Tricks looks like they've bounced back after their weekend in Indiana, where they were able to complete the sweep over the Sentinels. It was a rough start for them, but now they're over Watertown Wolves 4-1 in the second. Binghamton Black Bears doing some Binghamton Black Bear type stuff at 3-0 against Port Huron Prowlers in Michigan. The Topeka Scarecrows are now welcoming the Sentinels after they opened up the season in Indiana. They're up 2-0 against the Indiana outfit. Biloxi Breakers in the Bayou against their fellow Southern rivals, the Monroe Moccasins. They're up 2-1 against Monroe. And then the Columbus River Dragons up 2-0 against the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Rock Lobsters have made their way back out on the ice. A much more even second period in comparison to the first, but the only goal in the second 20 belonged to the Rock Lobsters. We'll see if we see that man more involved. Not Milan, but Elias Thompson, who was right next to him. Still haven't seen him drop the claws on home ice yet. A reminder that we're back here tomorrow night. The series finale against the Twin City Thunderbirds. Same time, same place at 7:05. Thunderbirds trying to avoid a very rare 3-game losing streak. And we are underway in the third period. Hopefully more of the same from the Crustaceans. They were known for a good part of last season as the Cardiac Crustaceans. And that was a big part of the storyline from last season. How many points were dropped in overtime, because the big difference in the Federal Prospects Hockey League in comparison to the NHL is that you drop a point if the game goes to overtime, even if you win. Sherbakov behind Babbitt's net. 2 consecutive icings against the Thunderbirds to start what is a start-stop third period thus far. Top line here in the offensive zone, Mack, Milan, and Neely. Neely wearing the Milan right off the face-off win. Shot goes wide. Mack trying to win it back. Falls down there for Roman Kramer. White, elusive there. Great feed to the front of the net. Gus Ford stopped by McPhail. McPhail seen a lot more shots in this game ever since the second period started. Athens will hope to continue to mitigate some of the danger that these shots from the Thunderbirds are causing. They've done a good job thus far.
This Athens team committed to keeping their goaltenders from working too much. Glukaryov. Van Durkin bounces off the hit there from Dobles. Van Durkin having scored in the final minute of play in the second, as the deke from Glukaryov, who lays the hit there on Dobles, fell onto the stick of Van Durkin. Moscow Mule put on the finishing touches. Farmer up the left side. Croucher just leans into Nate Keeley there. Puck comes free. Van Durkin looking for his second. Swallowed up by Babic. New unit on the ice. Quick conversation before the face-off, which will happen to the left of Boris Babic. Babic, a really tremendous last year as Mario Cavalieri's backup. Haven't heard anything about the status of Cavalieri. Mott still on the hunt for his first goal as a Rock Lobster. Schnapp hard off the boards, got it out of the defensive zone for the Thunderbirds. Has to pick his stick back up off the ice. Rosenbaum off the feet there of Butita. Garcia with Butita hot on his heels. Takes it into the near corner. Comes free from Rosenbaum. Taken down to the ice, fairly say the officials. Centering pass, never made it to the Thunderbird captain. Good play there from Roman Kramer to protect and then dump in. McPhail got to be careful there. Was tiptoeing out of his crease. Unlucky there, Hanley. Tried to keep it into the zone with his glove, and it ends up falling in and out of his glove and onto the blade of Sherbakov's stick. Referees will call that hand pass. Love to see all the costumes here tonight on Trick, Treat, and Defeat Night. It's been much more of a treat for the Rock Lobsters and Crustacean Nation. Let's see if they can end it with a defeat of the team that made it to the Commissioner's Cup finals last season. Mack with his back to goal. Neely, pirouette, poke past Sherbakov. Greco, who's getting up on the attack! The Grecking ball lays the hit on Sherbakov. Neely takes a spill. Here comes Gus Ford. Centering pass. Puck still loose out in front. Mack takes it away. Milan. Mack made the read well. Linesman, I believe, with the right call there. It was some good passing right at the blue line, but Mack made the step early after Neely took the puck into the zone. Athens with a dump in, chased down by Glukaryov. Glukaryov has been buzzing on the night thus far, but coming into the night with 5 assists in his 2 games back as a Rock Lobster. Still looking for his first goal back, and looking for a goal back themselves were the Thunderbirds through Nate Keeley. Don't think it troubled McPhail, who's now behind the net. McPhail looking comfortable in between the pipes. Shinkarik unable to generate the energy he wanted to on that puck. Centering pass is an awkward one to deal with. Josh Slagers, the D-man, getting up in the attack. Gallant through the legs. Little backhand shovel. Babic saves it into the protective netting. Gallant with goals in back-to-back games. Scored tonight to make it 3-0. Thank you, Eddie, in the chat for the kind words. Eddie, a consistent chat participant over the years, and you can be too if you subscribe to the Athens Rock Lobsters here on YouTube. You can like the stream, subscribe, and then ring the bell to stay notified of all future content. Noah Hippolyte Smith, McPhail with a pad save, poked away by the rookie goaltender. Schnapp, as we said in our open, one of the league's great agitators over the years. Not really any time for that right now. The Thunderbirds need a goal. 5 minutes gone. And what the Rock Lobsters hope is this final period. Toe drag Gallant over the bar. We've talked about the duo of Milan and Neely. How about the reunion of those two, Virgili and Gallant? Over the head of Hanley. Will be fetched by Don Carter Jr. Don Carter Jr. out of Antioch, California. Dangerous play there from White. But he'll get it right back as Mack more or less passed it to him. Gus Ford forces possession back to the Thunderbirds. But he may have done so illegally. We'll see what the call is here. There's a Thunderbird penalty, I believe. Actually, it looks like the Rock Lobsters are going to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Michael Greco heading to the sin bin. Leslie Jones Law penalty kill coming up after this commercial break.
Every business owner who's built a business wonders about their company's legacy. What's the path forward after they decide to take a step back? At the heart of every succession plan is a vision that safeguards hard-earned success. This isn't just paperwork. It's your roadmap, guiding a business during a change in ownership and detailing how ownership transitions and key financial decisions unfold. This instills a profound sense of pride, belonging, innovation, and commitment, ensuring a stable future for the company and a rewarding exit for you. Let's forge that path together.
Rock Lobsters back to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. If you end up finding yourself in the penalty box, make sure to call Leslie Jones Law. Michael Greco with the slash. Athens tasked here with once again protecting McPhail's net. Down a man. And right out of the face-off, Kolatarsi sends it the length of the ice. Ford steps on the gas to emerge from out behind Babic's net. McPhail offers at it. White all the way back for Ford. Trying to sell a penalty there, and the Thunderbirds will get it. Not good here. The Thunderbirds will have a lot of time here on the 5-on-3. And also have the Rock Lobsters, one of their best defensemen in the box. Two important penalty killers, in fact, in Greco and Shinkarik. Kolatarsi, Mack, and Milan will be the three out on the ice. A minute 33 of 5-on-3 for the Thunderbirds. If it doesn't happen here for Twin City, it just may not happen for them on the night. Centering pass. Deflected out off of Rock Lobster to Ford. Zach White to the slot. Feeds Ford, misses wide. Kramer. Back-to-back feed. Michael Mania in close. McPhail initial stop, then it's swept away by Kolatarsi, I believe. One-time shot. Sent from White, stopped by McPhail. Ford tiptoes to the high slot. Shot caught by McPhail up high. What a save on the shot from Roman Kramer. Still 44 more seconds to go on the 5-on-3. The Rock Lobsters have scored 4 goals tonight, and with their 4th goal, Crustacean Nation has won the Freddy's Score with 4 free mini Sunday. For more information, check out Fan Saves on how to redeem. Virgili trying to push it up. Ford from a dangerous position. McPhail lost track. I think it actually took a hit off a snap. Ford. One-time shot. Once again, Zach White with the effort, and once again stopped by McPhail. Athens sprawling in their own zone. That one is off the iron. Most dangerous shot of the power play came from Ford, who scored last Saturday on the man advantage. Virgili stops it with the glove and sends it all the way down to Babic. Michael Greco back out on the ice. It's a 5-on-4. Carter Jr., bank pass. Shot came from a tight angle. Nate Keeley with the effort. The man from Czechia, Pastuca. Wayward pass. Shinkarik back on his skates. And the Rock Lobsters kill the 5-on-3. Much to the chagrin of the Thunderbirds. Kolatarsi around the end boards. Michael Greco scanning the ice. Threads one ahead for Neely. Neely with Gallant on the far side. Takes a spill into the end boards as he couldn't get anything of the tape on his stick on that biscuit. Rosenbaum gives it up. Rare mistake for the rookie. Forehand, backhand. Good opportunity there from Noah Hippolyte-Smith. Saw Hippolyte-Smith as a Zydeco over the last couple years. Mack, one-time slap at it, finds Neely. What a pass there from the rookie. Neely pushed from behind by Dobles. Gallant trying to poke it free. A little bit of trouble there for Farmer, but the Thunderbirds get it out. There's Schnapp. He misses the net. Schnapp snaps a shot from a dangerous position. Could not find the nylon past McPhail. Gallant trying to shove off Dobles here. Not going to make any friends on this Rock Lobster team. Gallant and Dobles, a couple jabs back to back with the blades of their stick. Shots on goal now in favor of the Thunderbirds for what may be the first time tonight. Really clever there from Van Durken. Backhands it through some skates. Found Glukarioff, who then got edged out of possession. Shinkarik, silky as ever. Hard banker, falls to the feet of Cade Hanley. Hanley again. Risky pass, but finds Sherbakov. Kramer has some difficulty handling, but gets the pass back from their Russian defenseman, Sherbakov. Croucher didn't like the look he had. On and off the stick of Thompson. Dobles might want to be careful about coming back out on the ice with Thompson here. Virgili to Croucher. These two were line mates in the first 2 games of the season in Indiana. Quick reunion here between the two. Mack, beautiful move. Got it back on his forehand. Shot is off of Babic, but it never rattled the Slovakian. Loose pass from Greco. Taken in by Slagers. Josh Slagers trying to shrug off Johansson. Really good pass. Cross eyes swallowed up by McPhail. Dion Demke out on his haunches as he tries to score against his old team. We go to another commercial break here. The Rock Lobsters, 8 minutes and 14 seconds away from something special. More coming up here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network.
As a hockey player, my health is everything to me. When I got injured,
I didn't just worry about missing games. I worried about my future in the sport I love. From the moment I met you and your team at Piedmont Athens Regional, you gave me confidence. Your expertise, your care, your support, it all reassured me from the very start. Because of you, I've been able to recover, rebuild, and get back to playing the sport I love. Can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dream alive. Thanks to Dr. Graff and Piedmont Athens Regional, I get to keep playing the game I love.
McPhail with a bucket off. Another locked-in performance for the man that joined the Rock Lobsters out of a D1 program in Mercyhurst. Athens trying to stay locked in here. 8:14 left in the third period. McPhail, outside your screen, is dealing with some sort of equipment issue. Looks like he's got the glove back on. It's a little tap there from Lavalier. McPhail skates back to the crease with a little bit of swagger. Face-off win in a dangerous area for the Thunderbirds. Let's see what they make of it. Milan getting on the back there of his former teammate Demke. Don Carter Jr. takes a hit from Joe Mack. Puck pinned to the far side boards. Comes free. Neely pokes it away. Rock Lobsters going back to the penalty kill. Shrug there from Michael Greco as he's not sure why he's getting sent to the box. You've got to say it's not going to last forever. The Rock Lobsters keep getting in penalty trouble here. I think for the most part the referees have played a pretty good game, called a pretty good game. But I do think that's one of the softer penalties we've seen tonight. Hooking the call on Greco as Ford once again gets stopped by the pad of McPhail. Moving left to right for Kramer. Thunderbirds have really tried to test McPhail from tight angles tonight, as it's rifled all the way down the ice. Babic is going to have to play a part here. Zach White. Croucher hot on his heels. Puck stopped by Kolatarsi. Really good start to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. I'd like to think of a world, if the Rock Lobsters score on the power play, you get $3 tacos from Paloma Park. More on that later, as Ford made a good move there. I'd like to see a world where if the Rock Lobsters have a successful penalty kill, then you get like a 30-minute consultation with Leslie Jones. Wouldn't that be great? These are the kind of thoughts that ring through my head. McPhail active in the trapezoid all night long. Butita had to act quickly and did. Don Carter Jr. Whiff on the initial pass. Good recovery out of it. Set up for Pastuca. Never reached McPhail, and it's deflected out of play. 15 seconds left on this power play, which has been rendered fruitless thus far on the night for the Thunderbirds. Rock Lobsters continue to lead 4-0. As they have for the last 14, 15 minutes and change. One-timed all the way down the ice by Carter Shinkarik. Don Carter Jr. Loose pass towards Dion Demke. Both teams back at even strength. Michael Greco, fresh out the box. Gets challenged. Farmer does well with it. Don Carter Jr. took his eyes off the puck. Kolatarsi whiffed on it as well. Demke from distance. Easy for McPhail. Pushing and shoving behind McPhail's net. We wondered if there was going to be any ill will that carried over from last Saturday. Of course, still one more game to play between these two teams here at the Tank. We'll be back here tomorrow at Akins Ford Arena. Rock Lobsters against the Thunderbirds. Series finale. If you haven't already, make sure you get your tickets. Saturday night's always a party in the Tank. Danny Dangles trying to make it a party himself. Tremendous move, tremendous strength to get to the net. As a Thunderbird defenseman was looking for the piggyback ride out of the Russian rifle. Feels like the 5th or 6th time we've seen Danny dangle to the net front, but still has not found his first goal of the season. Croucher will take the place of Van Durken on the faceoff dot. White sends it high. Calm from Greco. But it's taken off of his stick. Another tremendous save from McPhail. As the divide between the two shot on goal tallies is widening here in favor of the Thunderbirds, 30-24 in favor of the visitors. Fans here getting behind their goaltender, Carter McPhail. Almost another save for him to make, just wide there from White. McPhail watches it all the way to the point. Kramer poked off of his stick and loses his stick. Great defensive play there from Jordan Rosenbaum. Matt Garcia gets pinned to the boards along with the puck by White. We're in the final 5 minutes of play here. White. Was one of two players really that impressed as we see the shot from White come from the point. Him and Ford were really the two bright spots for the Thunderbirds last Saturday. Mack takes it right into the middle of three Thunderbirds. Dives to poke that one back to Kolatarsi. Neely protects. Mack takes it over. Gets called for the offside. Our last media timeout of the night. The Rock Lobsters are in control 4-0. Can they keep the pumpkin on the board for the final 3:54? Stay tuned here and find out.
Rock Lobster fans, this is Brad Akins. Akins Ford has led the way for years and keeps on growing. From offering the Southeast's largest inventory to being #1 in the nation in Ford truck sales, we're here to serve you. Want to customize your ride? Our Wild Willie's accessories team can make it as unique as you are. Make it legendary. Need service? Our fleet of over a dozen mobile service vans come right to you. Akins Ford and Winder. We really are closer and bigger than you think. Rock Lobsters, let's go.
Kiss cam here at Akins Ford Arena. Thunderbirds right now just trying to begin their fight for pride and to have something to build off of for tomorrow night's game. Claudius doesn't want to get involved on the kiss cam. Everything feeling calm, cool, collected for the Rock Lobsters. But Mack is still fighting to try and make a bigger impression here. He's been buzzing around the ice. He plays well in all three zones, but still looking for his first goal. Neely, big hit there on Demke. No love lost between them. Neely's not one of the Rock Lobsters that knows Demke as a former teammate. Milan laid the hit there on Hanley on the forecheck. Shinkarik in the high slot, comes off a Schnapp. That one didn't look too good for Schnapp. Through the legs of Mack. Falls favorably for the rookie, but he's brought down to the ice by Hippolyte Smith. Poked off of Milan's stick. Shinkarik will take it back into neutral ice. Mott on the forecheck now. Getting a piece of Sherbakov. Keeley. Great stick work there defensively from Matt Garcia. Two and a half left. Icing going against Athens. Make sure you stay tuned here on the broadcast as we'll await the 23 design 3 stars of the game for the night. Still time here for the Thunderbirds to put a 1 in the goal column. Mott out of the pinballing shot at the blue line. Garcia made a step up. Wiped his lip. Not sure if he felt that he took some contact up high. This time the icing goes against Twin City. What's up ahead for Twin City after the Rock Lobsters? They'll take on the Columbus River Dragons at home at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Arena next weekend. Two teams very familiar with one another, having played in the Continental Division finals in last year's Commissioner Cup playoff. Shot from distance. Johansson also looking to get his scoring started on his professional career and as a Rock Lobster. One of the easier glove saves for Babic tonight. Virgili against Ford in the battle for the puck. White can't take it past Greco. Glukharov, it was a good thought, but he was already in the zone as he played the puck in on the pass toward Virgili. So an easy offside call for the linesman to make. Back underway here in the final seconds of the third period. Van Durken. Glukharov from a long way out. That shot came from Gwinnett, but it might send the Thunderbirds the other way. White with a great move initially, but Michael Greco leaves him on the sheet. Virgili leaves it for Van Durken. Back to Virgili. That one should have been 5. Hippolyte Smith into the zone. McPhail well out of his crease. He's seen his fair share of stick handling tonight as well. Final minute of play here. Hard off the boards. Thompson sends it back where it came from. Babic loses it in his skates, but no Rock Lobster creating any ruckus. And Hanley is able to take it away comfortably. Gallant. Kolatarsi one-timed off the board, stopped by the body of Sherbakov. About 18 seconds left. Is there a goal in this game for the Thunderbirds? Whiff of a shot there from Slagers. For the first time in nearly a year, the Thunderbirds have been shut out. That last shutout came on November 9th, 2024, and who dealt it to them? The Athens Rock Lobsters. It was a 1-0 win in Winston-Salem. The Rock Lobsters with their second shutout of the year, their last coming at the beginning of the season, the 10-0 win in Indiana on October 17th. Already 2 shutouts on the year for the Crustaceans, something that's difficult to do and difficult to pull off in this league, and both shutouts belonging to Carter McPhail. We'll see the start of the victory circle and victory lap for the Rock Lobsters. We'll tell you how we got to this point. Goals just a minute apart between Carter Shinkarik and Garrett Milan, both the beneficiaries of some tremendous passes. Croucher on the pass to Shinkarik, Neely on the pass to Milan. Within a minute, it was 2-0 at the 8:19 mark of the first period. Later on, with a minute to go, Kayson Gallant scored his second back since coming from Allen, the ECHL camp for the Americans. Another beneficiary of a tremendous pass, Glukharov, who got another primary assist nearly an entire period later. The final minute of play in the second. Van Durken was able to take it off Glukharov's stick after a tremendous deke to the net front, and the Moscow Mule finished off the move to make it 4-0. Past that, it was all Carter McPhail, the rookie, with his second shutout of the year, 29 saves on the night. And the Rock Lobsters stay undefeated at 5-0 on the year, 15 points. It cannot get better, the start to the 2025-26 campaign for the Rock Lobsters. We'll see if we can take a quick look at what's going on in the rest of the FPHL. PD Ice Cats still up big 6-2 at home against the Blue Ridge Bobcats. Danbury Hat-Tricks up 7-1 against the Watertown Wolves. Binghamton Black Bears 5-0 against the Port Huron Prowlers. Some really lopsided score lines in the Fed tonight. Topeka Scarecrows up 3-1 against the Indiana Sentinels. Monroe Moccasins have come back and tied it up at 3 apiece in Biloxi. And the River Dragons still up 3-1 against the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Carter McPhail is not going to want to traverse too far off the ice. You're going to have to imagine that he is going to be one of the 3 stars of the game. Claudius, a close distance behind Carter Shinkarik. He ended the scoring in the 6-2 victory last Saturday. He opened it today. Carter Shinkarik, you might know him better as Captain Fantastic, the 3rd star on the night. He'll throw a little treat out to the Trick Treat and Defeat crowd here. Daniil Glukaryov has played just 3 games since coming back from the Allen camp. In those 3 games, he has 8 assists. Who else could it be? Carter McPhail pumping up this crowd. He's got the Orca Weisblatt jersey, reminding us what it's all about. McPhail, a 29-save shutout. His 2nd shutout of the year. He was flawless on the night. Well, Crustacean Nation, the red-hot start for the Rock Lobsters continues after the 4-0 win against the Twin City Thunderbirds. But we're not done on the weekend. We are back here, same time, same place tomorrow, as it is a 7:05 puck drop for the Rock Lobsters against the Twin City Thunderbirds. Can they polish off this series with, let's call it a 3-game sweep if you're taking the game from last Saturday? The Rock Lobsters really were able to do it in all 3 zones on the night, protected their goaltender. Their goaltender protected the net in Carter McPhail, and then 4 goals. And with those 4 goals, Crustacean Nation has won the Freddie Score with 4 free mini Sunday. For more information, you could check out Fan Saves on how to redeem. You might also want to check out Fan Saves because when the Rock Lobsters win, so do you. After every Rock Lobsters win, it's time for Andy's Drive Back offer. Visit our Fan Saves page to claim a special post-game offer from Andy's Frozen Custard. Celebrate the win the sweet way with Andy's on your drive back. Well, that's about a pretty sweet series so far for the Rock Lobsters. Let's see if they can have a sweet ending to it tomorrow night here. We hope to see you either on the stream or why don't you come out, buy a ticket, and we'll see you in the building. This has been Matt Tina-Rad saying so long from Akins Ford Arena. The Rock Lobsters win big again, 4-0, against the team that made it to the Commissioner's Cup Finals last year, the Twin City